After a year of obtaining this character and letting her rot in my box, I have finally decided to limit break, max level, and awaken Urza. That one guy in the comment section right now is celebrating and screaming his heart. Why did I wait so long to awaken this unit? To be honest, I have no clue. I just never did it. Probably because I'm always broke on limit break stones, and there was no reason for me to really awaken Urza since I had other attackers. At least I got her to 120 luck back in the day, and she's pretty good. I mean, she's always been pretty good, right? That's the whole thing about Urza. She's always been a dope attacker, even whenever I used her back in the day. I never thought this unit was bad, because if you say Urza's bad, then I don't know, you're probably like a Genshin player or something. So this entire unit's game plan is very simple. We stack as much damage as possible on her because she is a ramping unit, which the way how we stack is by using her True Art. We get her True Art to go crazy. We get more damage ups, and then she just kind of does the rest by herself. We just gotta supply her with Archgen because she's very self-sufficient. With her passive, Titania, this gives you 100% crit rate if you're not afflicted by a status element, and autofills your arc gauge by 4 when your HP is 90% or more. This is actually not too bad since it kind of alleviates you using like an Archgen equip. You can still use one, of course, but like you don't need like 2 Archgen equips on this character, I want to say. Just using one should be good enough. As for the skill, we have increased damage by 10% for 8 seconds. For the art, you buff up your attack and reduce the enemy's evasion rate, which is pretty solid. And as mentioned before, the True Art, which is where you stack, this reduces the enemy's light resist by 40%, and you increase crit damage by the number of times the True Art has been activated, times 60% for 15 seconds. So this goes all the way up to 300%, and yeah, you deal massive amounts of damage. In terms of her equip slots, we have a 5-star physical, 5-star defense, and a 5-star physical. All 5-star slots on this character, which is great, gives her a ton of additional stats. In terms of what to use on this unit, this is going to be a little bit different than how we do a lot of the other ones, because I don't think that you need a lot of Archgen on this unit as mentioned before. If you want to go the route of giving her tons of Archgen, since she does have 2 5-star physical slots, you absolutely can by using something like True Izanagi and a Cursed Light Sword or whatever else. I think just opting in for one Archgen equip is very solid, and then opting in for more damage up equips is kind of like what I would go for myself. Something like True Grand Scale is very good, gives you damage 60% up, and it also increases your attack by 60%. Technically actually increases your attack by 70% because it has a passive attack up as well. As for the 5-star defense, this is really up to you, whatever you want to do with it. If you want to use True Flambardo, use True Flambardo. If you want to use something else that's going to be benefiting your team for whatever boss you're fighting, use that. Or if you want to buff up her damage a tiny bit more, you can always go with Freely Bikini, or you can go with Flame Stola, which is from the Berwick event, and this gives you a passive 10% damage up as well. As for the Crest, you see we have none on her, but it's very simple with this type of unit. You're going to mainly want attack up and crit damage, Promise of Funeral God, or Arc Gauge up. If you plan on using her in a lot of nukes, you know, definitely opting in for that Arc Gauge more so than anything will be very beneficial on her. But if you're using her as sustained damage though, attack up and crit damage will be your go-to. Now let's look at these animations. I don't remember last time if we actually were able to check them out. I think we were, but I couldn't remember. We have her skill, which, yeah, this is the one that I always see, her flying up the air and then spinning all the swords around her. We have the art here, which I don't see this too much, but she draws the star. Okay. We have the True Art, which I think we've all seen this. She just rains down tons and tons of swords. I really like how the swords stick into the ground. Nice little attention to detail right there, because if they didn't do that, it'd be kind of like a bland True Art, because you're mainly just seeing a bunch of lines go across the screen. I don't think Urza's animations are crazy. One thing I do think is crazy, though, is her sprite. Her sprite is very good. So the first fight we're going to be going up against is going to be the Heretic Beast. This is the Earth Doggo Crest Palace. You do have to poison this guy, so that's why we're running some very questionable equips on some of our units. This is going to be more so a nuke than like a sustained fight, but you should be able to see, like, it's going to be pretty good. And oh my god, we didn't even do any damage because oh my goodness. It's fine. It shouldn't matter. The main thing is I'm going to have to hope I poison, and also I'm going to have to cleanse the poison as well from, oh, and we did poison. Let's see the damage real quick. Come on, Urza. Come on, Urza. Maybe by yourself? By yourself? Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, big damage. Urza with 3.8 million, and that's not even all the way stacked up. That is literally within one True Art she was able to do that. So very potent, right? Very strong, very good. Now, unfortunately, there's no like challenge damage quest here right now, so I could actually take Urza up against that to show you kind of how crazy her deeps can get. But the only thing we have is like this solo fight that you can do, which I haven't even done yet. I just cleared it to get the Specialty X Hyper, which I haven't even done yet either. Instead, what we're going to go do is we're going to go fight the Vanishing Barriers, which is the final boss of Cross the Blaze, episode 8. Yeah. And one thing that does suck, and one thing to keep in mind whenever you are using Urza in these longer types of fights, is that you really got to make sure that you have a lot of cleanse just to in case that the boss inflicts a lot of like blinds or poisons or something. And you want to try to keep her above that 90% threshold if possible. Even on a team like this, the extra art gauge is just really nice, since sometimes it can feel like Urza doesn't really have anything going for her. Really enough, it actually feels like she'll be lacking in the arching department because she's spamming her true art so much. Basically, so far, we're doing pretty good, man. There's some damage. We're doing some stacks. Well, how many stacks do we have right now? We're at 4 stacks. I don't actually know how many it takes to get max. How much does she gain each turn? She gains 60%. It's going to be 5 times on the true art before it's completely max, and this will actually be the 5th time right here, which should mean that this is big damage. Maybe not. Big damage? I mean, decent damage. Oh, yeah, big damage. So that worked out pretty well. Let's see the damage numbers right there. 12 million. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just what you can expect from Urza. She's just that absolute powerhouse of a character. The only time I wouldn't use Urza against, like, a fight is if there's crit resist or if the boss resists, like, physical damage or light damage. And even then, if it has crit resist, you might be able to still use Urza if you can get more crit rate than they have crit resist, or if you're able to lower their crit resist with another unit. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no mines here or anything. I would love to take her up against that and just show you her blowing up all the bosses in that, because she's one of the characters where you can use her in the mines pretty much on most floors and do really well with her. The only time that she will really struggle is, like I mentioned before, is if a boss has any of those resistances, or if you're not able to keep her out of a status effect. Like if you're fighting a boss and they are constantly poisoning you. This is very apparent with the Groitz fight, for an example, in the story, where he gives you that frame poison debuff and you cannot take that poison debuff off. Then Urza can't even benefit from her passive. Like, she's not going to have the 100% crit rate passively, which may be a detriment, but of course you can give her that back by using a character like a crit buffer or something. But at that point, I feel like you're wasting too many resources to just pump it in one character, and you're better off using someone else, because the whole benefit of using Urza is the fact that she gives so much to herself. If you take away, you know, her ability to give herself that 100% crit rate or that art gauge, then it's like, well, is it really worth using her at the end of the day? Either way, she's great. She's a luck unit too, so she's very strong in that department as well. And overall, she is the in-game unit from this crossover. Out of everybody, she's the character that is probably the best at in-game, next to like Lucy and stuff, since she's more of a support. Now, the question is, will I ever use her again? I don't know. She may just sit in the box for the rest of her days, because I mostly nuke and I don't really use a lot of ramping damage dealers, but maybe whenever the mines comes back around, we'll pull her out one more time just to show her off in one of the live streams. Either way though, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all for coming out. Tell me down below what you guys think about Urza. Have you guys still been using her? I know a lot of you guys really love this character and you use her against every single fight in the game. So if you are one of those people, you could let me know down below in the comment section what type of teams you run. You know, what's some of the stuff that you've seen, some of the strategies, some of the synergies that you may see with Urza that maybe I didn't talk about in this video. I would love to read all that down below in the comment section. And oh yeah, one more thing. Don't forget to drink water.